Welcome to the Misophonia Podcast. This is Season 5, Episode 8. My name's Adil Ahmad, and I have Misophonia. This week I'm talking to Julia, a senior in high school. I think this is the first person I've spoken to in high school since the current school year started, so it was interesting getting her thoughts on the past 18 months. Julia is also very into advocacy for misophonia and runs the Misophonia Mindfulness Instagram account. We talk about art therapy and her hopes to pursue neuroscience after she graduates. It's really promising to see young people with misophonia pursue their educations and careers with misophonia in mind as something they want to work on. I want to give a quick shout out to two new Patreon sponsors, Mary and Linda. Thank you so much for your support to keep the show going and expanding. The Patreon is super easy to find at patreon.com/misophonia podcast. And you can read there about all the things planned for the show and the swag that I'll send you. An even easier way to help reach more misophones like you is to leave a quick rating wherever you get the podcast, if you haven't done so already. And by the way, if you just want to connect with me, you can always email hello@misophoniapodcast.com, or we're on all the social media. Just search for Misophonia Podcast, or you can use the links in the show notes. All right, now here's my conversation with Julia. Julia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, you've probably heard some episodes. Do you want to let us know kind of, roughly where in the world you are?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, and so it's like 11 p.m. So this is like fun.
Okay, cool. So, I guess what do you do out there in Charlotte?
I'm in high school. I'm 17 and I'm a senior this year. So yeah, I'm basically just starting my senior year.
Cool. Yeah, I've had a few high schoolers. It's been a little while. So, and that was back when I think everyone was kind of virtual.
Mm-hmm.
You were probably, I'm assuming you're in person now?
Yeah, I'm in person right now.
Okay, and how's that? I guess how's that been? This could go on maybe with a lot
Yeah,
of
I mean, I've already run into a few like
yeah.
gumshoers, so this is fun already. Um, No, it's been surprisingly okay, mostly because I'm very grateful for masks because I don't have to see people chewing. I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
somewhat listen to it, but without the visual,
And I guess the master, I mean, it's got to have some kind of effect on the audio as well. These certain frequencies have to
yeah, I
be
hope
kind
so.
of filtered out a bit.
Mhm.
So, okay, yes, you're back in school, and it's better than, I mean, honestly, better than no mask. But was I guess, well, how let's go kind of back a little bit. Like, how was what did you think of virtual overall?
Oh, I loved it. Like
Yeah. Okay.
academically, like socially, I thought it was great. So kind of miss
You know,
it, but
I've talked to some people about this because obviously in the mainstream talk is that virtual is so much worse for students, but there's got to be segments like us where as long as you have friends outside of school to kind of get the social stuff, like
Mhm.
in you can focus now better, right? I mean, well,
Yeah,
in
definitely.
virtual you could focus a lot better. So how was it? Let's say before any of this happened, was school like a major challenge for you?
Um,
Like
I
misophonia wise and
yeah, there's
grade
been
grades
like
notwithstanding.
there's been certain classes where there's a particular kid in the class that's just loves to have a full meal. Um,
Mm.
and it's been miserable. And then there's gum chewers, and then it's that like chain effect where if one person pulls out a piece of gum, then everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, wait, can I have a piece of gum?" And then it's like hell.
Oh,
So there's been a few moments like that.
wait. So you have kids who are having entire meals in class in
Yeah,
high
like
school?
it will be first block, and these kids are eating like breakfast. I was like, "Are you kidding?"
Oh, okay. Like
It's
homeroom and
yeah,
nothing's much happening except
no,
just all these people are coming in. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's terrible.
yeah.
Um, okay. So Okay, so yeah, you're so yeah, some classes were pretty bad, but how was it? Were you able to manage basically, and kind of like when it mattered, like get your grades, where they
Yeah,
need to be
it
and whatnot. Yeah,
it hasn't affected it like academically. Like my grades aren't suffering because of it. It's just been
yeah,
I've definitely had to be more focused and like train myself in certain situations, like taking an exam. What do I do if there's a person behind me chewing?
right,
Do I plug one of my ears while I like write stuff like that? That I've just trained myself to do. Um,
yeah.
so
Well, that's great if you're able to do that, and I'm sure some of these skills will be applicable in real life in post school life as well. Were you able to ask for any accommodations? Like, were you did you tell anybody at school, like teachers or counselors, about it?
yeah, this has been a like a struggle of mine. I'm not vocal at all about the misophonia and everything like that. I've
Hmm.
I don't know, mostly because it's just so difficult to explain and like obscure, and even if they do understand somewhat of what it is, they never fully understand and therefore
Hmm.
don't give full accommodations. And so I've had one teacher where I asked to move my seat to the back of the classroom because I've felt that if the sounds are in front of me, I'm able to manage it more than if they're behind me. But other than that, I haven't asked for any like stop eating in class because a lot of teachers allow that kind of thing. So
Were
yeah.
your well, that's strange because I mean I know the schools that you can't eat. I mean, gum chewing, like you can't do that, and certainly not eating.
Yeah.
That's hopefully that'll get to your school soon.
Yeah.
Um, but was your teacher, did your teacher let you move to the back of the class at one time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I need to talk to my teachers more about that and like my counselors. But if I have a problem, like a reoccurring problem, I'll try to do that. But
Hmm. Hmm. Do you
it's
talk to
been
them about other stuff as well, or is it just has it just been miso and it's been um hard to kind of figure out how to tell them?
it's been hard to tell them. And I don't know. It just seems it's hard to validate it. Just saying like, yeah, I have this and can I get all these accommodations for it? Like stop letting kids eat in your classrooms. Let me sit in the back of the classroom. Like
Hmm.
I don't want to be like a burden to my teachers, so I tend to deal with it.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I mean it's a common thing. Even yeah, people of all ages deal with is like the sense of being a burden.
Hmm.
Um, and but at least you're able to at least so far you've been able to manage through, and I think I mean, honestly a lot of people are able to somehow manage through school and not affect their grades. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping yeah that's the case for you too. So take that as some optimism. Now after
Yeah.
after you get out of school and get into the workforce, I hate to break it to you, but it might get rougher then. But at least you'll be a little bit older and be able to control your
Yeah.
environment a bit more. Well, let's talk about yeah, maybe home life and kind of maybe when this began for you. You're
Yeah.
17, so this starts for a lot of us in that kind of middle school or just before middle school. So is it, am I wrong in assuming that it's probably around that time, so not too long ago?
Yeah, I was around 11 when it happened,
Hmm.
and I have my theories on like how it
Yeah, yeah,
happened.
bring it. Yeah.
So I my aunt came to live with my family when I was around that age. She has Down syndrome, and so the way she eats is different because of the way like her jaws are structured and like she's missing teeth, and it's just a different way that she eats. And I think ever since that, it was like a click, like a trigger. Like ever since she started to move, like live with us, I developed it. So maybe it's just coincidence. Maybe there's a correlation. Like I don't know. But yeah, that's about the time it started for me when she moved in, and she still does live
Yeah.
with us.
Gotcha. Has that changed for you? Are you able to I mean, is it are you able to eat with her? Like, has it gone worse?
I
And
have
your reaction
never.
to it, she's probably
She actually no, she's incredible. She understands it more than like
oh,
literally anyone else.
excellent.
Like if she's making her lunch and I come downstairs, she's like, "Do you want me to go in the other room?" It's like it's crazy how much she gets it versus like my friends who don't. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of
Why do
nice
you
to
think that is? You've probably told her that told her that it has a name and everything. Unlike your teachers, um,
I
you,
think she just more gets the emotion part of it. Like she's
yeah,
very sympathetic and yeah, she's great.
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, maybe she just is able to sympathize or
Mhm.
empathize more, because you're somebody else with a condition, maybe not
Mhm.
quite the same as hers, but that's interesting that's great that she's at least yeah, empathizing and trying to help out. Um, what about like the rest of your family? Well, usually when it starts with anything, it just kind of starts to spread to other people and other sounds. Um, and but in some cases it stays localized. Has it kind of um, yeah, expanded for you too?
Yeah, so my mom and my aunt are definitely my worst triggers. And like ever since everyone's growing in my family, so it started with my mom and my aunt, and then it went to my dad and my brother and then my sister. And so like
Mm,
eventually everyone became a trigger. They're all at different levels though. So like I definitely cannot eat with my aunt like ever again,
hmm.
but occasionally, depending on the type of food, I may be able to eat in the same room as my dad. So it's interesting to see that. I don't eat with my family like in the same room. We all eat at the same time, but like I go into my separate area and like
Yeah.
my own thing. And
And they understand all that?
oh yeah, they totally understand. During the beginning, it was kind of difficult, and my mom was like probably my biggest advocate, and she was looking up like names and like what it is. She was the one that first introduced me to the term misophonia, so that was,
Mm,
and then she was just like, um, do you want to get like therapy for this, like exposure therapy, like doing everything we can, like getting earbuds that would fit my ears, like stuff like that. So my family's very supportive of it. They understand completely, which is amazing. And it's really helped.
yeah. Did you pursue any kind of therapies?
Yeah, I did. It was interesting because when I went in for therapy, like the woman was just discovering misophonia. Like I was her first one that she's been dealing. So it was kind of interesting to see how she was approaching it because I was like her guinea pig almost.
So this
It
is like
didn't
a
help.
local place in Charlotte?
Yeah, it was just I have, honestly don't know how my mom found it, but
Yeah.
it didn't help. I didn't go in with any expectations.
What did
So
they do?
um I just talked about like everything, like why I may be having this reaction, like getting to the root of it. Was it like auditory? Was it visual? Listening to stuff on a computer, like ASMR
Hmm.
stuff.
So it was basically talk therapy kind of thing, but
Yeah.
with her basically trying to learn about it and
Yeah,
you kind of
basically.
express it. Okay. And then 50 minutes are up and that was it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, not uncommon. I mean, it's fortunate that she'd even heard of it. There is yeah, there are many cases when it's just a kind of a eyes glaze over kind of situation. Um, Interesting. Okay, so do you know how your mom found out about it? Was it basically just kind of Googling like, why does my
Yeah.
daughter never eat with us kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's I used to eat with them in the beginning, and it was like a mixture of turning my television on to like 100 the volume, and then plugging one of my ears, and then eating with like one hand. It was crazy. And then like I got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore, so I just left.
Yeah.
But my mom just went on Google and was searching frantically, like on Facebook groups and stuff, and then, yeah, she found it.
So you did try the background noise of TV or
Yeah,
whatever, and it just wasn't
yeah.
quite cutting it.
Part of the therapy was like I had homework where I had to like in increments turn down the volume of the TV and see
Mm.
like exposure therapy kind of it didn't work. So
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Uh, that's kind of consistent with what I've heard and what I think. It's not just a volume thing or something is so linked to volume, basically.
yeah.
Um, how old is your sister? Older or younger? What does she think? Because some situations I've heard where siblings can cause an extra issue with
Oh,
how they treat you about it.
my sister and my brother are both. um, in college. So they're old. I'm the
Mm,
youngest in my family,
okay.
and they all understand and they're all like accommodating. Like if I come downstairs and they're like making something, like we'll figure out like where I'll eat, where they'll eat, stuff like that. But there's a few times where they just, in the beginning especially, they were doing it occasionally to like get on my nerves and were
Rile
like
you up.
doing it. And it's like, okay, y'all can like make fun of me and mock me, but like this is an off limits kind of thing. Like you can't do that. So
Yeah, yeah.
they're better
Do
now. They
they? Yeah, well, that's great that they've learned the error of their ways.
yeah.
Do they also have? I mean, they don't have misophonia, but I'm curious if
No.
like your aunt have any kind of other issues that maybe they were able to kind of like use as a reference point to kind of relate to you at least on some level.
Yeah, I don't think they have any clue what it's like. And no one in my
Mm,
family has anything like oversensitivity kind of thing
yeah,
like this. So it's been interesting trying to explain to them exactly what it feels like and like, yeah. It's just I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
justify my feelings, so it's hard for them to understand.
Right. In the early, well, I guess around 11, and you knew it was your aunt. Did you ever kind of in the early days, did you ever act out in any kind of irrational way, or was it just something that you have kind of always kind of, it seems like, bottled up? Um, well, I
Yeah.
guess not with your family, but I guess you have with school. But yeah, I'm just curious if you kind of like threw anything, I guess, or just kind of um,
Um, I
because
remember,
sometimes young people have a hard time kind of understanding what it is, and it
yeah.
takes it takes a little bit to kind of like control those emotions.
Yeah, I definitely balled it up and like tried my own little like quiet ways of trying to
Mm-hmm.
cope with it, like plugging my ears. And then I remember at the very early stages of it, like when no one understood what it was, that I was starting to vocalize like I can't stand it, like I don't know what it is, but I can't like deal with it. I was forced to sit there and like cope with it because apparently like I don't know, like we all understand our mistakes now. Like forcing me to be at
Yeah.
that table while people were eating was not a good idea. But like I just remember like bolting upstairs and just running away pretty much is my method I always used, was just running away.
Mm. The flight part of
Yeah.
fight or flight.
Yeah, definitely. I was a
Um,
fighter. Hmm.
and so you said that I don't know what it is, but I can't stand this.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I
I mean, that
hate.
is self-aware. Yeah, I mean, that's showing some self-awareness at a pretty young age. At it. I mean, that's really that was the truth. I mean, you don't know what it is, but you can't stand it. So, it was kind of an honest cry for help, I would say. What about you? Like your friends? Have you ever kind of mentioned to your friends at
Oh,
school or otherwise?
um, like one of my best friends doesn't know what it is. I think I was traumatized by one experience where I'm always very cautious about like parties and stuff and making
Mm,
sure I go to a party, like a birthday party, there's noises and everything going on when we're eating. But there was one time I was at a party with my friend and I told her about it because I knew like there wasn't going to be background noise kind of thing. And she was just like, okay, yeah, yeah, I got it. And then she proceeded to like eat ice in front of me. I was like, okay,
oh,
ice, like out of all things.
yeah.
Anyway, it's just that like she wasn't purposely trying to do it. It was just that like ignorance, like forgetfulness, not knowing exactly how severe it was, kind of thing. So after that, I kind of didn't tell people. So right now I'm still pretty closed off, but it's interesting because I'm writing like so I'm applying to colleges right now.
Yeah.
So like all my essays and like Common App, like personal essay that I'm sending to all my colleges is about misophonia. So I'm like, how do I get peer edits on this? Like it's literally revealing such a like I don't know personal thing about me to my friends. So yeah, I've been trying to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. There's a few things to talk about here. Interesting. Okay. So, well, first, okay. I think got it all in my head. But first, the friend with the ice. How
Yeah.
did her standing change after that? Is she, do you hang out with her anymore, or is it kind of like
She's not even
you
in the
went?
country anymore. Like,
Okay, okay.
I haven't had to eat
We
with
won't ask why, but we'll just say she's not in the country anymore. Um,
her.
okay, and so it sounds like after that you just don't bother telling your friends because, and this is not uncommon because you're probably just exhausted from like you don't know what's going to happen, and it's just like extra
Yeah.
grating probably when um you think you're coming you think you're kind of revealing something important about yourself, and then it's just not taken seriously, and that
No.
just happens over and over. So sometimes we're like just like, why bother when we can run away if we have to. um
Yeah.
so does that kind of sum up kind of like your your
Yeah,
current
definitely.
kind of right
Yeah.
dealings with your friends? Okay.
And right now, like my friends are the people that affect me the least. So my family is like the worst. I would say
Yeah.
strangers are right under them, and then friends somehow don't affect me as much. It's like minuscule almost. And it's kind of nice to have I kind of get a glimpse into what it's like to not have misophonia when I'm with certain people that just don't trigger me at all. And it's like, ah, oh, this is nice. Like I can actually eat with people like sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's that like if I go to these people that I can eat with and say, hey, I have misophonia, like I have a fear of chewing noises where they're gonna bring up like, oh, but we just like ate lunch yesterday. Like it it doesn't make sense, I feel like.
Yeah. Right. Doesn't make sense to them. It's also like if things are okay, why rock the boat kind of
Yeah.
thing. Let's talk about your so this essay that you're working on this is your application essay for
Mhm.
college. Do you want to talk a little bit about this? I went to school in another country in Canada, and so I don't think I did essays, but I'm curious like what's the significance of the essay, and like is the whole essay on misophonia, and kind of what angle are you taking with that, and or why did you choose misophonia? This is, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. Um, so I out of there's a bunch of prompts for the essay,
Hmm.
and mine is answering like a few of them almost, mostly identity and like how has identity like I don't know, uh changed your like activities, behavior, stuff like that. Anyway, so I was reluctant to do misophonia at first because I thought I could only write it in a way that was like sappy. And like I didn't want to write a sap story. I wanted to have
Yeah.
like optimism, stuff like that. So I have been like, I'm very, very into like misophonia activism, and I would love to go to college and do like neuroscience in some way and actually like be involved in misophonia like
Yeah.
research. And I've participated in as many minor friendly research studies as I possibly can. And when I turn 18 in March, I will be doing so many more. So I mostly talk about like how I turn my like uncertainties at first into an interest in misophonia and my fears of it into like a passion, and how I'm trying to take active steps in the misophonia community. And I also have a very small Instagram account, like just talking about misophonia. And it's just nice to post things and see other people commenting. And yeah, so I wrote
Yeah,
a
I was going to ask if you were right, if you had a handle an account or something that you wanted to
yeah.
promote. What's your and I'll put in the show notes, but what's your account?
It's misophonia underscore mindfulness, I think. If you
Okay.
search up misophonia mindfulness, it'll come up. I need to
I'm
post.
probably following it. Yeah, I try to catch everything that comes across. So,
Yeah,
okay,
me
cool.
too. I'm like following every account. It's not many of us. Um, yeah. So my
Okay, so
essay,
we were talking about, yeah, your essay, right? Yep.
so my essay is pretty much about like first discovering misophonia, explaining what it is, and then how I'm like into the advocacy of it and like
Yeah.
activism. Um, yeah.
Are you trying to apply to neuroscience type fields?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
The sciences. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I had applied. I wasn't into went into engineering, so that's probably why I didn't have an opportunity to say this would not have made sense, but totally makes sense for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's great. And wow, yeah, I mean, so many. I want to wish you luck on everything there, and just getting into the college that you want to get into, and then all the research and the Nobel Prize you're going to win for the cure for
Oh,
misophonia. That's
100%. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
um, I might have both my hands are, yeah, I'm knocking on wood. So, okay, yeah, very cool. So yeah, so it's interesting because you're okay with your so this must affect your home. I mean, it must affect your life quite a bit that you're
Oh,
so passionate about misophonia. So you said, okay, we talked a little bit about family. It sounds like it obviously affects family. Well, okay, let me back up. Let me summarize here. So it doesn't affect you and your friends so much. Yeah, I know it affects your family around eating. What about like other activities with family? Is it kind of a pervasive thing in other activities as well, like in the car or anything?
um, so for certain people, certain things have
Mm,
they have different triggers. So my aunt, just her heavy breathing sometimes
yeah.
triggers me. Other times it's really weird, but my mom brushing her teeth, I don't know why, but something about that also triggers me.
Hmm.
Um, and then my dad, when like I don't know if it's such like a dad thing where they put like peanuts and cashews in their hand and they just like shake it, like not knowingly, like they just shake it. That triggers me. So that's like
As a dad who loves peanuts and cashews, yeah, I'm sure I've done that
just the
before.
shaking of it. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you're right. I do like mixing things, and maybe that's what it is. And then but I like both of them, but I don't necessarily want to like have to think about which one I'm putting in. So I'll shake them, just kind of make sure they're all evenly spread out.
Yeah, that's what my dad does.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I've never talked about peanuts and cashews on the podcast, so that's an interesting one. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, these are all, there's so a lot of like not just eating at the table. There's a bunch of like like based on the person, there is different sounds
Mhm.
that will trigger you.
Yeah. And different people have foods that are
Yeah.
the worst. For
Oh,
my mom, there's like baked chicken is the worst thing that my mom can eat in front of me.
I
Um,
see. There's
Popcorn is
something about
the
the
worst thing for
moistness
my
probably
dad.
there. Yeah. Okay.
It's just bizarre. Like everyone has their own little things that
So has it affected? So it affects in the moment. What about like? What do you feel like? Does it affect kind of your relationship with them? Like how close your family is?
I honestly don't think it is because I feel
Hmm.
like if they weren't understanding of it, if they weren't accommodating of it, then I would see like
Yeah.
problems.
There
But
might be resentment, but
I have to just remind myself because every time someone eats in front of me, I don't know why. I take it as a personal offense, like they're trying to hurt me, even though I know they're not. So it's just that constant reminder like they're not trying to do this to annoy you. They just have to eat because they're humans, kind of thing.
right, right. Until you invent the thing that makes people eat quietly and not have to use
Yeah.
their mouth. But
Yeah, when I invent that.
interesting. Okay, yeah. Well, that's great. You're right. I mean, you're well compared to some others. Your family seems very doesn't give you a lot of reason to resent them. They seem to be trying. So and then you mentioned in between friends and family, strangers are she said strangers are just under your parents.
Yeah.
Talk to me about are there any memorable moments with Julia and strangers that have caused some strife?
I feel like I've been in a Panera once. And you know how Panera has like
That's all you have to
the
say is I've
crunchiest
been in a
chips?
Panera. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know why, but their potato chips are so crunchy. Anyway, I was in a Panera once and I feel like I had a really bad experience with some stranger. And then there's been people in my classes that I just see as strangers that are eating. So, yeah.
Yeah, the meal maker. So they probably don't aren't they probably don't end up being high in your list of new school friends.
Oh no, I don't
Yeah,
like one kid at my school, like my whole family and some of my friends, I only refer to him as the nasty man because all he does is eat in class. And I don't even know his name. I just know him as the nasty man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We don't need
So
to we don't need to learn things like his name. That's I think that
no, I don't
suffices.
need to know his name.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Um and okay. So yeah, strangers. Do you do anything out in are you kind of out there at post Panera? Have you been just wearing earbuds a lot or anything, or do you just kind of maybe
Yeah.
avoid certain places?
Yeah, I definitely avoid certain places. I
Panera
do have
and
earbuds that I wear, but I don't know. I feel like even though I'm if I have earbuds in, I'm like I'm still on high alert. So there's only so much it can do. And plus I can't help but like look around and like see people eating. It's like
right.
watching a car accident like go by. Like you know you shouldn't look at it, but you want to.
Ah, the Misokanichi rubbernecking. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting point. Is that right? We can't sometimes we just can't help just looking. Do you find that do you know how w- like have you heard of mirroring as kind of a coping mechanism for some people? Like
Yeah,
if they hear
like
a trigger,
chewing really obnously.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
do that all the
Do you?
time.
Wonder if looking is like that, or is it maybe part of the judgmentalness
Yeah.
of it, where we have to give them the glare
Yeah,
or
I glare
something?
at everyone. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, you're just yeah, I glare at everyone. That's yeah. I mean that's yeah normal for us. Have you ever been caught like somebody's like, what the, what the hell are you doing?
I I don't think I have. I usually
I
stare
mean,
at like
we're good at
back
hiding them.
of heads
Yeah.
and like just give them a look. But also for my family members, if like they don't know I'm there, or I just turn my head and I just stare at them, and they know they're doing something wrong, um,
Yeah.
with my stare. So
Did the Miso Kinesia, the visual triggers for you kind of pop up pretty quickly after Miso? Or some people it starts kind of later than
I
in
feel
high
like
school.
it was simultaneous. Like I've always never liked the way people like ate. And ever since my aunt started living with me, like with the sound, I was also looking at her. And so I think just both of them developed.
Yeah, I can see how that association could happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um, Interesting. Okay. And so what do you think? So your misophonia is part of your big part of your passion and your it's even in your college application. Have you thought about like what misophonia might be like in college? Like maybe I don't know, have you talked to other college students like your siblings or anything about how life might be like there? Do you have any kind of like anxieties around that, or
Yeah.
because there are pros and cons. There's a lot more people in some classes, but then you have more autonomy. So
Yeah. I'm just really scared about like my roommate
mm,
and like how that would work out. I don't know. I feel like at college, I don't know why. I feel like I'll develop a new trigger. Like something about my roommate's breathing, something will
mm,
happen, and I don't know. I'm just scared of it growing. And I know that it can get worse with age, but yeah. I and so like with that, with getting worse with age, I can see how it started with my family, then it went to strangers, and I feel like slowly, but like eventually my friends will be the ones that trigger me. So I'm just like always on the lookout, like being very aware of how I feel to
yeah.
see if there was a slight change. It was like, oh, this friend, I can't eat with her anymore, kind of thing.
Right, right. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm just gonna step in where don't need to, but yeah, I wouldn't maybe. I wouldn't try. I would try not to like overanalyze and just kind of just see how. Because yeah, you're right. In all likelihood, things will start to expand, but
Mhm.
um, I would try not to put too much of a spotlight and just kind of enjoy your enjoy your college
Yeah,
years at least.
I'll try.
Um, I know definitely like if you're if you get a job and that happens to be in some kind of an open office environment, you will definitely find some new triggers there. But I'm hoping the next few years will be okay. Or I don't know what you plan to do. You'll probably be like in a lab 24/7, like getting this cure
Yeah,
tested. But
hopefully that'll be great.
um, interesting. Okay. Yeah, because and also in college, I think professors and lecturers are more apt to give accommodations. I think there's more leeway there.
Mhm.
So hopefully that'll work out. So you said misophonia underscore support, or I'll have the link to whatever it is in the show notes, and obviously when I push this podcast live. But what are some of the things you've been posting about, and do you have any other kind of advocacy outlets that you've been trying out?
Um, so on my Instagram account, there's one post that I like. I researched the connection between creative intelligence and misophonia and how people with misophonia are, I don't know, their brains are like wired, certain connections are faster, like they have greater creative intelligence. So I just researched that and put that out on there. And I like to think of it like as a plus side of having misophonia. Like, oh, look, I'm better than everyone. Like,
Yeah,
oh, like
we
we're
are, but
smart.
it's good to have proof, right?
Like, I just need that. Like, little small validations, like, oh, okay, here's a plus side of possibly having misophonia.
Yeah. Do you have any creative outlets
Yeah,
like
so
music or?
I like to do art, and so one of my in I'm taking art classes at my high school, and for one of our projects, it was about exploring identity. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll just do misophonia. So I did this misophonia piece, and it was really like a cathartic experience, just putting all my feelings in this artwork and pouring everything out on this artwork. And then, do you know the Scholastic Arts and Writing competition?
I don't think I've heard of that. Is it part of the Scholastic, the book company or?
Um, I don't know. I just know it's like
Yeah.
this national like art
Yeah.
thing. Well, like, it got an award for it. So, um,
Oh, your misophonia work.
yeah. So
Oh,
that
is this recent?
this was a year ago. It was back when we were
Okay.
still in person. So it was 2 years
I'll have
ago.
to try to find it. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Do you
it's
have your
on.
artwork?
Oh, I posted it on the Instagram page.
Okay, okay.
So it's
I'll
you
I'll
can
definitely
see it
feature
there.
that. Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. But you're right. I mean, yeah, there are people who you're not the only one who's noticed that there is some kind of a link between it seems to be more people who have misophonia are creative. I don't know if I said that right, but yeah. And actually, Chris Edward, the founder of SoQuiet.org, he runs the So Quiet Instagram account, is trying to do a study to kind of try to prove that or get some more information about that link as well. And actually, the Misophonia convention that's coming up, which may have passed by the time people hear this, there's actually a couple of sessions on the link between creativity and misophonia in a couple ways, like how misophonia might make people more creative, but also like how does misophonia affect people who are trying to do creative things? Like, because this thing is super distracting, and you
Yeah.
really want to be in flow state when you're doing creative stuff. Yeah. So, and when you do your art, do you have like are you in like the zone in some like bunker, like with
Oh, yeah.
total
No
quiet, or
noise anywhere I work. It has to be silence. Or
how do
like
you ensure that? How do you ensure that?
I just work in my I'm trying to think like in art class when I was in person. Um I usually do
You
most of my
just
work
got
out,
lucky.
and yeah,
Okay.
I just got lucky. And also my art teacher allows us to put in like earbuds and stuff, so that's nice.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. 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 That helps. Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, sounds like I mean, things will get interesting. Hopefully, you'll be pursuing some kind of misophonia in college. I mean, I'm sure in the early years it'll just be general kind of stuff, but hopefully it'd be great to have you on in the future if you start getting into some more misophonia related stuff. Are there any schools that you maybe applied to for, you know, being known to have maybe some research in that area or
Yeah,
more sympathetic to that?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. My top choice is Duke solely
Oh,
because Well, not solely, but I know you know why. The
Have
Duke's.
you do you know Dr. Rosenthal?
I listened to the podcast like he was on, and I've listened to him talk and stuff, and I've emailed so many people there saying like, "Hey, how can I be involved?" I think that would be the dream, like working so close with such like a prestigious research group. Oh my gosh, that would be
Did you
so.
apply to Baylor as well? Baylor is Dr. Storch is also doing research at Baylor down in Houston.
I'm
But I
not.
mean, Duke
Maybe
is
I
probably
will
close. Yeah, well, he came on too, so you can listen to that episode.
now. Okay.
And they've got stuff going on. And then if you want to go like I don't know what I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the UK, but that's
Yeah, I
overseas.
can go there.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So, but yeah, no, you've yeah, Duke's got a lot of stuff, and yeah, you might want to reach out to the Baylor school as well. They've
Okay.
always got
I'll
some
definitely look
research
into
going
that.
on. Trying to think if there's anybody else.
I know maybe it was Northwestern. Someone did a study
Hmm,
recently that I was looking
okay.
at.
We'll
So,
take a look also at the Misophonia convention that's coming up in a few
mm,
weeks. You can at least look at I would try to go, but if you can't go, it's virtual,
mm,
but at least check out the list of presenters and see if any of them come from an institution that you might be able to apply to.
yeah,
Um,
I'll look at
and
that.
and then the other thing is, yeah, I was curious. So I don't know if you've heard the Natalie at UCLA. She's not doing anything. I don't think she's doing anything misophonia related for school, but she started a misophonia student group at UCLA, and so
Oh,
wherever you go, that might be an interesting
yeah,
thing. Like it just started as like a two or three people. I don't know where, I don't know how big it is now. I need to catch up with her and see how things are going in person again. But that I think that would be a great. I would love to see that on every campus, but that might be
yeah,
something interesting to start, and that could lead to that you never know how serendipity works. That could lead to something else, maybe an idea with some researcher, or maybe just some connection that you would not have thought of otherwise. But at least it gives you a center, it's another advocacy tool that, and you're already like you said, really interested in advocacy. I think that would be a great thing for you to just start there
hmm yeah, yeah. Wherever I go, I'll try to make misophonia known.
because we're everywhere, and people just don't know, or they bottle it up.
Yeah,
So well, cool. Yeah, we're heading around about around 3/4 of the hour in, but yeah, I wanted to, yeah, it's funny, give you a chance to talk about anything else you want to share with people. I'm curious actually, what are some of the um you got the Miss Funny Instagram account. You've already posted some interesting things. Anything else? What are the kind of the main messages you want to get across to people? And maybe that'd be a good way to kind of start to wind things down, and kind of like, do you have any other um things you want to try doing for advocacy?
um, I really enjoyed like my call it kind of called it art therapy with the misophonia artwork that I did. And I
Mm.
feel like anyone, regardless if they're an artist, would just they would benefit so much from just putting all of the feelings and bottled up emotions that I know a lot of people with misophonia have like onto a physical thing, onto like paper, anything. So I really want to encourage like creative like expression, especially with like this little theory that misophonia, people with misophonia have a higher creative intelligence. Like use that. Like take all the bottled up stuff and put it down on something. Because it really helped me. So I don't doubt that it will help other people.
Do you, when you're going through triggers, do you think about like, I gotta go back? I can't wait to just go back to the canvas again. And is that something you do regularly? Is just if you have like a rough week, you just hit the canvas and then things start to feel
Yeah.
better?
Um, I don't do a lot of work dedicated to misophonia, but I think just like having something
Right, just doing something.
for
Yeah,
your emotions to do anything, regardless of the
yeah.
subject, is good. But yeah, I do a lot of art, and yeah, it is really helpful.
I could not agree more. I also encourage people to to do that. Look at art as an outlet. I mean, it's great therapy for it. A lot of people with misophonia have other comorbid conditions as well, and I think it helps everything. So
Mhm.
that's great advice. Cool. Well, yeah, Julia. Yeah, thank you for coming on and kind of
Thank
sharing
you so much.
your story. Yeah, of how things started. And you're young, so you got a lot of experiences ahead of you. But it sounds like, yeah, very optimistic with what kind of you've got going. I hope wish you the best in getting into the perfect college, Duke. Please, yeah, let me know if you hear about anything interesting, any new cutting edge research.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julia. I hope you get your top choice for college and look forward to hearing how that goes, especially if and when you get into some research opportunities. If you liked this episode, don't forget to leave a quick review or just hit the 5 stars wherever you listen to this podcast. You can hit me up by email at hello@misophonia.podcast or go to the website misophoniapodcast.com. It's even easier to just send a message on Instagram at Misophonia Podcast. You can follow there, Facebook, or Twitter. We're actually Misophonia Show. And don't forget to support us at patreon.com/Misophonia Podcast. Music, as always, is by Moby. And until next week, wishing you peace and quiet.